All right, Colt, where is Percy at this point in the story?
Summer camp.
And what kind of a camp is it?
I don't know.
Who goes there? Who goes to these?
Demigods.
Demigods. And what are demigods?
They're half human and half god.
Very good. What happened to Grover? Where's he going to? What happened to Grover?
He got in trouble
For what?
for not protecting Percy,
What else did he get in trouble for?
not hugging him,
Oh, for leaving him.
or leaving him.
Yeah, Percy ran away and Grover lost him. Remember? In the part where we're at in the story right now, what are Sharon and Percy doing?
They're finding a cabin for Percy.
And they're looking at each cabin. Are all the cabins the same or are they different?
They're different.
According to what?
To cheer on.
To the different gods. They're decorated according to the gods. All right, let's practice some of the words. Find my finger. Does it start with B?
Yeah.
Okay, this is barbaric. It says here, my kinsmen are a wild and barbaric folk. Barbaric means mean or rude. What does barbaric mean?
Mean and rude.
Okay. The next one is right here. Starts with an I. Is intrigued. Sharon paused as if the question intrigued him, which means, intrigue means you want to know more. Like if you have a toy and you're intrigued, you want to know more about the toy. So what does intrigue mean?
You want to know about something?
Very good. All right. The next one is eons. You see, eons ago, the gods granted my wish. Eons means a long time ago. What does eons mean?
A long time ago.
Good job. Right. Last word is
Critically.
critically. It means finding fault. She looked me over critically, or she's looking at him to try to find something wrong with him. Does that make sense? All right, so what does critically mean?
Something wrong.
Finding fault.
Finding fault.
Or finding someone. Okay, over here where my finger is. My turn. I kept walking, trying to stay clear of Sharon's hooves. We haven't seen any other centaurs, I observed. Your turn.
I kept walking, trying to stay clear of John's hoops. We haven't seen any other centaurs, I observed. Your turn?
My turn. No, said Sharon sadly. My kinsmen are a wild and barbaric folk. I'm afraid you might encounter them in the wilderness or at a major sporting event, but you won't see them here. Your turn.
No, said Sharon sadly. My kinsmen are a wild and barbaric folk. I'm afraid you might encounter them in the wilderness or at major sporting events, but you won't see any here. Your turn?
You said your name is Charon. Are you really? He smiled down at me. The Charon from the stories? Trainer of Hercules and all that? Yes, Percy, I am. But shouldn't you be dead? Your turn. You said?
You said your name was Chiron. I said, Chiron, are you really? He smiled down at me. The Chiron from the story, trainer of Hercules and all that? Yes, Percy, I am. Your turn?
I'll read the next sentence. Go ahead.
But shouldn't you be dead? Your turn?
Okay, you go ahead and read now.
Chiron paused as if the question intrigued him.
Intrigued him.
Intrigued him.
Say it again.
Intrigued him.
Okay, start Sharon and read that sentence again.
Chiron paused as if the question intrigued him.
Good.
I honestly don't know about should be. The truth is can't be dead. You see, eons ago, the gods granted my wish. I could continue the work I loved. I could be a teacher of heroes as long as humanity needed me. I gained much for that wish, and I gave up much. But I'm still here, so I can only assume I'm still needed.
Okay, let's hold your place right there. So what does the author want us to know about Charon? What has Charon always wanted to do?
He wanted to work
As what?
as a teacher,
Okay, teaching who?
teaching all the others,
The heroes,
the heroes.
the demigods. And so his wish was granted, which means he is a teacher. Okay, go ahead. I
thought about being a teacher for 3,000 years. It wouldn't have made my top 10 things to wish for list. Doesn't it ever get boring? No, he said. No, he said. Horribly depressing at times, but never boring. Why depressing? Charon seemed to turn hard for hearing again. Oh, look, he said. Annabeth is waiting for us. The blonde girl I'd met at the big house was reading a book in front of the last cabin on the left, number 11.
Okay, stop right there. So what did we just learn in this story? What just happened?
Annabeth was waiting for Percy and Charon.
Okay. We don't know who she is yet, do we?
Mm-mm. Her name is Annabeth.
And she's going to be important in the story. Okay, continue reading.
When we reached her, she looked me over critically, but she was still thinking about how much I drooled. I tried to see what she was reading, but I couldn't make out the title. I thought my
Dyslexic.
dyslexic.
Do you know what that word means?
What?
It means you have a hard time reading.
Mm,
So say dyslexic.
dyslexic.
Okay, start with I thought.
I thought my dyslexic was acting up. Then I realized the title wasn't even English. The letter looked Greek to me. I mean, literally Greek. There were pictures of temples and statues and different kinds of columns, like those in an architecture book.
Do you know what architecture means?
Somebody's phone is vibrating.
That's right. It means that architecture is building. When they build buildings and stuff. Go ahead.
Whose phone was vibrating?
I don't know. Keep going.
Annabeth, Charon said, I have master's archery class at noon. Would you take Percy from here? Yes, sir. Cabin 11, Charon told me, gesturing toward the doorway. Make yourself at home.
Okay. What does gesturing mean?
I don't know.
It means like when you make a movement, like sighted people make gestures or movements with their hand. So if I was going to say, Cole, over there, I would gesture to you to show you that it was over there.
Okay.
A gesture is a movement. Go ahead.
Out of all the cabins, 11 looked the most like a regular old summer camp cabin with the emphasis on old. The threshold
Means the
was
doorway.
worn down, the brown paint peeling. over the doorway was one of those doctor's symbols. A winged pole with two snakes wrapped around it. What did they call it? A caudal. Can't remember what this is.
Cadus, I think.
Cadus.
We'll come back to that. Keep going.
Jesus. Inside it was packed with people, both boys and girls. Way more than the number of bunk beds. Sleeping bags were spread all over the floor. It looked like a gym where the Red Cross had set up an evacuation center. Chiron didn't go in. The door was too low for him. But when the campers saw him, they all stood and bowed respectfully. Well then, Chiron said, "Good luck, Percy. I'll see you at dinner." He galloped away toward the archery range. I stood in the doorway looking at the kids. They weren't bowing anymore. They were staring at me, sizing me up. I knew this routine. I'd gone through it at enough schools. Well, Annabeth prompted, "Go on." So naturally, I tripped coming in the door and made a total fool of myself. There were some sneakers from the campers, but none of them said anything. Annabeth announced, Percy Jackson, meet cabin 11. Regular or undetermined? Undetermined, somebody asked. I didn't know what to say, but Annabeth said, undetermined. Everybody groaned. A guy who was a little older than the rest came forward. Now, campers, that's what we're here for. Welcome, Percy. You can have that spot on the floor right over there. The guy was about 19, and he looked pretty cool. He was tall and muscular, with short, cropped, sandy hair, and a friendly smile. He wore an orange tank top, cutoffs, sandals, and the leather necklace with 5 different colored clay beads. Mm-hmm. Wow! The only thing unsettling about his appearance was a thick white scar that ran from just beneath his right eye to his jaw like an old knife slash.
Okay, stop right there for a minute. Let's talk about what does evacuation mean? What would be an evacuation center?
I don't know.
Evacuation centers, when they have a disaster like a tornado comes in and destroys homes, then they send all the people whose homes have been destroyed to evacuation center. And that's where all the people, sometimes around here it could be a church, and everyone sleeps in the gym. So that's what this building that Percy's going to live in, this cabin, looks like. So what does it look like?
Cabin.
But what does the cabin look like inside?
The building.
It's a building with people. Where are the people at? They're all over the floor sleeping, correct?
Correct.
Yep, they're all over the floor. The other one is a routine. What's a routine?
I don't know.
Percy says, I know this routine. When you come to school, you have a routine. What's the first thing you do? When you come to school, you get off the bus and then you go where?
In the building.
And do what?
Get a drink and put my stuff away.
Okay, and then what do?
Head to recess.
Okay, that's a routine. It's things that you do in order. Undetermined, what does that mean? Do you have any idea?
I don't know.
If it's undetermined, it means it hasn't been decided. Each demigod is put in a certain cabin depending on who their parents, the parent that's a god is, and they have not determined who Percy is yet. So he is not, he doesn't know what god he takes after yet. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions?
Mm-mm. This